Ethan Hale thought he was just stopping by a small-town clinic for a business meeting until two identical blonde boys ran up to him, screaming, "Daddy!" in front of a stunned nurse. He'd never seen these children before in his life. But when Maya Thompson walked through that door, the woman he'd loved and lost 4 years ago, everything changed. Those boys looked exactly like him as a child. She'd kept a secret that would shatter everything he thought he knew. Now he has to decide, walk away from the life he built or fight for the family he never knew existed. But Maya's been burned before, and trust doesn't come easy when your heart's already been broken once. If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because this story is about to get real. Ethan Hale pulled his black SUV into the small parking lot and cut the engine. The coastal town spread out before him. Weathered storefronts, saltwater breeze, seagulls circling overhead. He checked his phone one more time for the address. The clinic should be right around the corner. He'd driven 3 hours for this meeting with a potential property investor. The deal wasn't huge, but Ethan had learned early that every connection mattered. At 30, he'd built his real estate business from nothing. No family money, no shortcuts, just long nights and careful planning. He stepped out into the afternoon sun and locked the car. The air smelled like fish and brine. A few people walked past, nodding politely. Small-town friendliness. Ethan nodded back, though he felt out of place in his pressed shirt and dark jeans. The clinic sat at the end of the block. White siding, blue shutters, a wooden sign that read, "Coastal Family Health." Ethan pushed through the glass door and stepped into the waiting room. It was quiet inside. A few chairs, magazines on a low table. Soft music played from a speaker somewhere. Behind the front desk, a woman in blue scrubs looked up and smiled. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I'm looking for Dr. Brennan's office," Ethan said. "I think I have the wrong building." The nurse, her name tag read Karen Whitfield, tilted her head. "Dr. Brennan's office is 2 blocks down. Big brick building. You can't miss it." "Thanks," Ethan said. He turned toward the door. That's when he heard them. 2 small voices, high-pitched, excited. "Daddy!" Ethan froze. "Daddy, Daddy!" He turned slowly. 2 identical boys ran through the waiting room door. Blonde hair, bright blue eyes, maybe 4 years old. They wore matching red shirts and tiny sneakers that squeaked on the tile floor. They stopped right in front of him, both of them, pointing up at him with wide smiles. "Daddy!" one of them shouted again. Ethan's mouth went dry. His heart hammered in his chest. He looked at Nurse Karen. She stared back at him, her smile gone. Her eyes moved from Ethan to the boys and back again. Ethan started, but nothing else came out. The boys giggled. One of them grabbed his hand. "You came!" the boy said. Ethan couldn't move, couldn't think. The room felt too small. Then he heard another voice. Soft, familiar. A voice that made his stomach drop. "Noah! Nico! Stop!" Ethan looked up. Maya Thompson stood in the doorway. She wore jeans and a simple white t-shirt. Her dark curls were pulled back in a loose ponytail. Her brown skin glowed in the afternoon light. She looked exactly the same as she had 4 years ago. Maybe more beautiful, maybe more tired. Her eyes locked on his. Shock, fear, something else he couldn't name. "Maya," Ethan whispered. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at him like she'd seen a ghost. The boys, Noah and Nico, looked between them, confused now. One of them tugged on Ethan's hand again. "Daddy, you know Mommy." Ethan felt the floor tilt under him. Maya's face went pale. She stepped forward quickly and took both boys by their shoulders. "Come on," she said softly. "We need to go." "But, Mommy, now." Her voice was gentle but firm. She looked at Ethan one more time. Her eyes were wet. Her hands shook as she held the boys. "Ethan," she whispered, "please don't do this here." She turned and led the boys toward the door. They looked back at him, waving. "Bye, Daddy." And then they were gone. Ethan stood in the middle of the waiting room, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might break through his ribs. Nurse Karen still stared at him, her mouth slightly open. "Sir," she said carefully, "are you okay?" Ethan couldn't answer. He turned and walked out the door. Outside, the sunlight felt too bright. Ethan blinked hard, trying to focus. His hands shook. His chest was tight. He saw Maya's car, a small silver sedan, parked near the curb. She was buckling the boys into car seats in the back. Her movements were quick, nervous. Ethan walked toward her. "Maya." She froze. Her back was to him. For a moment, she didn't turn around. "Maya, please." She straightened slowly and faced him. Her eyes were red. Her jaw was set. "Not here," she said quietly. "Those boys," Ethan's voice cracked, "they called me. I know what they called you." She crossed her arms over her chest. "I know." Ethan looked past her at the car. The boys were watching them through the window. They smiled and waved at him again. "Maya." He took a step closer. "They look exactly like me." Her breath hitched. She looked away. "I don't know what to say to you right now," she said. "Are they mine?" The question hung in the air between them. Maya closed her eyes. A tear slipped down her cheek. "Maya, please." She opened her eyes and looked at him, really looked at him. And in that look, Ethan saw the truth. "I can't do this right now," she whispered. "I have to get them home." "Then when?" Ethan's voice was desperate now. "When can we talk?" She shook her head. "I don't know. Maya, I can't, Ethan." Her voice broke. "I can't do this right now." She turned and got into the driver's seat. The engine started. Ethan stood there helpless as she pulled away from the curb. He watched the car disappear down the street. The boys' faces pressed against the back window, still waving. Ethan stood alone in the parking lot. The breeze picked up. The seagulls cried overhead. He didn't know how long he stood there. Minutes, maybe longer. Finally, he walked back to his SUV. His hands were still shaking when he gripped the steering wheel. Those boys, blonde hair, blue eyes, they looked just like the photos his mother used to keep of him as a child. "Are they mine?" The question burned in his mind. He pulled out his phone and stared at it. He should call someone, his assistant, his lawyer, someone, but he didn't. He just sat there staring at nothing. Ethan drove to the only hotel in town, a small place near the water with peeling paint and a flickering neon sign. He checked in without really seeing the front desk clerk. The room was basic: a bed, a chair, a window that looked out over the harbor. He dropped his bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed. His phone buzzed. A text from his assistant. "How'd the meeting go?" Ethan stared at the screen. The meeting. He'd completely forgotten about it. He texted back, "Delayed. Staying another day." Another buzz. "Everything okay?" Ethan didn't answer. He set the phone down and leaned forward, his head in his hands. Maya. He hadn't seen her in 4 years. Hadn't heard her voice. Hadn't let himself think about her too much because it hurt too badly. They'd met in college. She was studying education. He was working 2 jobs and taking business classes at night. They'd crashed into each other, literally, outside the library one rainy afternoon. Books everywhere, apologies, laughter. They fell in love fast, hard, the kind of love that felt easy and right. But life got complicated. Ethan's business started taking off. He worked late, missed plans. Maya wanted more time, more presence. She needed someone who could be there, not someone always chasing the next deal. They fought, not loud fights, quiet ones. The kind where you both know it's falling apart, but don't know how to fix it. And then one night she told him she couldn't do it anymore. He remembered that night so clearly. They sat in her tiny apartment. She cried. He didn't. He was too shocked, too numb. She said she needed space, time to think. He said, "Okay," and then she was gone. He called, texted, left voicemails. Nothing. Eventually he stopped. He told himself she'd made her choice. He threw himself into work, built his business bigger, made more money, filled the emptiness with deals and projects and late nights at the office, but he never forgot her. And now, 4 years later, she was here, with 2 little boys who looked just like him, who called him Daddy. Ethan stood and walked to the window. The sun was setting over the water. Orange and pink streaked across the sky. "Are they mine?" He pressed his forehead against the glass. If they were his, that meant Maya had been pregnant when she left. That meant she'd hidden it from him, carried them, raised them alone. Why? The question made him angry, then sad, then confused. He pulled out his phone again and opened the browser. He typed in Maya Thompson. A few social media profiles came up. He clicked on one. Her profile picture was recent, her smiling with the boys on either side of her. The page was private. He couldn't see much else. He typed in Noah Thompson and Nico Thompson. Nothing useful. He closed the browser and tossed the phone onto the bed. He needed to see her again. He needed to talk. He needed the truth. He stood by the window until the sun disappeared completely and the harbor lights flickered on. "Are they mine?" he whispered into the darkness. Ethan barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those boys, their faces, their smiles, the way they'd grabbed his hand. At 6 in the morning, he gave up and got in the shower. The water was lukewarm at best, but he didn't care. He dressed quickly and went downstairs to the hotel's small dining area. Coffee, toast. He didn't taste any of it. He needed a plan. He couldn't just show up at Maya's house. Could he? He pulled out his phone and typed her name into a search engine again. This time he added address. Nothing. He tried Maya Thompson and the name of the town. Still, nothing useful. He sat back and rubbed his face. Think. The clinic. Nurse Karen. She'd seen the boys. She'd seen Maya. No, that was a dead end. She wouldn't give out personal information. He knew that. He drummed his fingers on the table. Then it hit him. The grocery store. Every small town had one. And if Maya lived here with 2 4-year-olds, she probably shopped there regularly. It wasn't much, but it was something. Ethan left the hotel and drove through town slowly. He passed the clinic, the diner, the post office. And then he saw it. A small grocery store with a faded sign that read Coastal Market. He parked and went inside. The store was quiet. A few people browsed the aisles. Soft music played overhead. Ethan walked slowly through the aisles, pretending to look at cereal boxes and canned soup, and then he saw her. Maya stood near the produce section, a shopping basket on her arm. She was alone. No boys. She picked up an apple, examined it, and put it in the basket. Ethan's heart jumped into his throat. He walked toward her slowly. She didn't see him at first. She was focused on the fruit. Maya. She turned. Her eyes went wide. The apple in her hand dropped and rolled across the floor. Ethan. Her voice was barely a whisper. I need to talk to you, he said. She looked around nervously. A few other shoppers glanced their way. Not here, she said. Then where? She bit her lip. I don't... Please. Ethan stepped closer. I'm not leaving until we talk. She stared at him for a long moment. Her eyes searched his face like she was trying to figure out if he was serious. Finally, she sighed. Outside, by the carts. She left her basket on the floor and walked toward the door. Ethan followed. Outside, the morning air was cool. The parking lot was almost empty. Maya stopped near the shopping carts and turned to face him. She crossed her arms over her chest. Her walls were up. What do you want me to say? She asked. I want you to tell me the truth, Ethan said. Are those boys mine? Maya's jaw tightened. She looked away. Maya, I didn't want it to happen like this, she said quietly. Are they mine? She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and then she looked at him. Yes. The word hit him like a punch to the chest. He stumbled back a step. Yes, he repeated. Yes. Her voice was stronger now. They're yours. Ethan couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The world spun around him. Why didn't you tell me? His voice cracked. Why didn't you? Because I was scared. Maya's voice rose. Because I didn't know what to do. Because you were so focused on your business. And I didn't think you'd want... You didn't think I'd want my own kids? Ethan's voice was loud now, angry. You didn't think I deserved to know? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Maya? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you decided I wasn't good enough to be their father. Her face crumpled. Tears spilled down her cheeks. That's not fair, she whispered. Fair. Ethan laughed bitterly. You kept my sons from me for 4 years. You don't get to talk to me about fair. They stood in silence. Maya wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry, she said finally. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I was wrong. I know that. But I was scared, Ethan. I was so scared. Ethan ran his hand through his hair. His anger was fading, replaced by something heavier. Sadness. Loss. I missed 4 years, he said quietly. 4 years of their lives. I can't get that back. I know. I want to see them, Ethan said. I want to know them. Maya looked at him. Her eyes were red and swollen. Okay, she said softly. Okay. She nodded. You can come by this afternoon. I'll tell them you're their dad. Ethan felt his throat tighten. Thank you. She gave him her address. A small house on the edge of town. 3 o'clock. Then she turned and walked back toward the store. Ethan stood alone by the shopping carts, his heart pounding. His sons. He had sons. At 3 o'clock, Ethan pulled up in front of a small house with pale yellow siding and a front porch with a wooden swing. The yard was neat. Toys scattered near the steps. A red tricycle lay on its side. Ethan sat in his car for a moment, trying to steady his breathing. His hands gripped the steering wheel. He'd thought about this moment all day, what he'd say, how he'd act. But now that he was here, his mind was blank. He got out and walked up the steps. Before he could knock, the door opened. Maya stood there. She looked tired, nervous, but she stepped aside. "Come in," she said quietly. Ethan stepped inside. The house was small but warm, pictures on the walls, a couch with colourful pillows, toys everywhere, and then he heard them. "Daddy!" Noah and Nico ran into the room, their faces bright with excitement. They crashed into his legs, hugging him. Ethan knelt down. His throat tightened. "Hey," he said softly. "You came back," Nico said. "I told you he would," Noah said. Ethan looked up at Maya. She stood in the doorway to the kitchen, her arms wrapped around herself. "Boys," she said gently, "why don't you show Ethan your room?" "Yes!" They each grabbed one of his hands and pulled him down the hallway. Their room was small. 2 beds, drawings taped to the walls, a pile of blocks in the corner. "This is my bed," Noah said, pointing. "And this is mine," Nico said. Ethan looked around, his chest ached. These were his sons, his boys, and he'd missed everything. "Did you draw these?" he asked, pointing to the pictures on the wall. "Yeah," Noah said. "That's a dinosaur, and that's a spaceship." Nico pointed to another drawing. "And that's Daddy." Ethan froze. The drawing showed a stick figure, tall, with yellow hair, and next to him, 2 smaller stick figures. "You drew me?" Ethan asked quietly. "Mommy showed us pictures," Nico said. "She said you live far away." Ethan swallowed hard. He looked at the drawing for a long time. "Can you read to us?" Noah asked suddenly. He held up a book. "Yeah," Ethan said. His voice was thick. "I can do that." They climbed onto one of the beds, one on either side of him. Ethan opened the book and started reading. His voice shook at first, but he kept going. When he finished, Nico leaned his head against Ethan's shoulder. "I like when you read," he said. Ethan felt tears sting his eyes. He blinked them back. "I like it too," he said. When Ethan came back into the living room an hour later, Maya was sitting on the couch. She looked up as he entered. "They're playing with blocks," Ethan said. "They wanted me to build a tower." Maya nodded. "They like building things." Ethan sat in the chair across from her. They sat in silence for a moment. "I'm sorry," Maya said finally, "for everything." "I don't want apologies right now," Ethan said. "I just want to understand." Maya took a deep breath. "When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. We'd just broken up. You were so focused on your business, and I didn't know how to tell you. I kept thinking I would. But then weeks turned into months, and then they were born, and I couldn't." "You could have," Ethan said quietly. "You should have." "I know." Her voice broke. "I know I should have. But I was scared you'd try to take them, or that you'd be angry, or that you wouldn't care. I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing." Ethan leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. "I would have cared, Maya. They're my sons. I know that now." He looked at her. "I want to be in their lives. I want to be their father." "Okay, I'm not going anywhere," he said firmly. "I'm staying here, as long as it takes." Maya's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. "Okay," she whispered. Ethan stood. He walked toward the door, but before he left, he turned back. "Maya?" She looked up. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said. "Not once." And then he was gone. Maya sat alone on the couch, her hands trembling. She heard the boys laughing in their room. She heard Ethan's car start outside, and she cried. Ethan woke before dawn. He hadn't slept well. Again, every time he closed his eyes, he saw Noah and Nico's faces, heard their voices calling him Daddy, felt their small hands in his. He got up and made coffee in the tiny hotel room kitchenette. The brew was weak, but he drank it anyway, staring out the window at the grey morning light spreading over the harbour. His phone buzzed. His assistant again. "When are you coming back? The Patterson deal needs your signature." Ethan typed back, "I'm staying a few more days. Handle it. Everything okay?" He stared at the message. No, nothing was okay. Everything had changed in a single moment yesterday afternoon. "I'm fine," he typed. "Just need to take care of something." He set the phone down and finished his coffee. Then he showered and dressed. By 7:30 he was in his car, driving through the quiet streets toward Maya's house. He didn't know if this was okay, if he should just show up. But the boys had asked last night if he'd come back, and he'd promised. He pulled up in front of the yellow house. The sun was barely up. The porch light was still on. Ethan sat in his car for a moment, gathering his courage. Then he got out and walked up the steps. He knocked softly. Footsteps inside. The door opened, but it wasn't Maya. An older woman stood there. She was maybe 50, with grey-streaked hair pulled back in a bun. Her dark eyes studied him carefully. Not friendly, not hostile, just watchful. "You must be Ethan," she said. "Yes, ma'am." She didn't smile. "I'm Lila, Maya's aunt. It's nice to meet you." "Is it?" She crossed her arms. "You're the reason my niece cried herself to sleep for months 4 years ago." Ethan's stomach dropped. I know you didn't know about the babies," Lila said. "Maya told me, but you're also the man who let her walk away without fighting for her." Ethan didn't know what to say. She was right. "I'm not here to hurt her," he said quietly. "I just want to know my sons." Lila studied him for a long moment. Then she stepped aside. "Maya's getting the boys dressed. You can wait in the living room." "Thank you." Ethan stepped inside. The house smelled like coffee and something sweet. Pancakes, maybe. He sat on the couch, his hands on his knees. Lila stood in the doorway to the kitchen watching him. "Those boys are everything to her," she said. "They're her whole world. If you're going to be in their lives, you better be all in. Not halfway. Not when it's convenient. All in." "I will be," Ethan said. "We'll see." Lila turned and walked into the kitchen. Ethan sat there, his heart pounding. He heard voices down the hall. Maya's soft tone, the boys giggling. And then they appeared. Noah and Nico ran into the room, their faces lighting up when they saw him. "Daddy!" They crashed into him. Ethan wrapped his arms around them, feeling his chest tighten. "Hey guys," he said. "Did you come to walk us to school?" Nico asked. Ethan looked up. Maya stood in the hallway. She wore jeans and a grey sweater. Her hair was pulled back. She looked tired but beautiful. Ethan started. "It's okay," Maya said softly. "If you want to." "Yes," Ethan said quickly. "I'd like that." The boys cheered. 20 minutes later, Ethan found himself walking down the sidewalk, holding Noah's hand on one side and Nico's on the other. Maya walked beside them, quiet. The preschool was only 3 blocks away. The morning was cool. A few other parents walked with their kids. Some of them glanced at Ethan curiously. "Daddy, do you like dinosaurs?" Noah asked. "I do," Ethan said. "What's your favorite?" T-Rex?" "That's boring," Noah said matter-of-factly. "Mine's a velociraptor." Nico tugged on Ethan's hand. "Mine's a brontosaurus." "Those are both good choices," Ethan said, smiling. Maya glanced at him. Their eyes met for a second. She looked away quickly, but Ethan saw something there. Sadness, maybe, or fear. They reached the preschool, a low building with bright murals painted on the walls. Other kids ran around the playground. Parents chatted near the gate. Maya knelt down and kissed each boy on the forehead. "Be good," she said. "We will," they said together. Then Noah looked up at Ethan. "Will you pick us up?" Ethan glanced at Maya. She hesitated, then nodded slightly. "Yeah," Ethan said. "I'll be here. Promise?" "Promise." The boys hugged him and ran toward the playground. Ethan watched them go, his chest aching. He and Maya stood there for a moment, watching the boys play. "Thank you," Maya said quietly, "for coming." "I want to be here," Ethan said. "I meant what I said. I'm not going anywhere." Maya nodded. She wrapped her arms around herself. "This is hard for me," she said. "Letting you in, trusting that you won't leave again. I know. I don't want them to get hurt." Ethan turned to face her. "I don't want that either. I'm going to do this right, Maya. I promise." She looked up at him. Her eyes were wet. "Okay," she whispered. They stood there for another moment. Then Maya turned and started walking back toward the house. Ethan fell into step beside her. They walked in silence. The town was waking up. Cars passed. A few people waved. Maya waved back. "Does everyone know?" Ethan asked. "About you?" "Yeah." Maya shook her head. "No. I never told anyone who their father was. I just said you weren't in the picture. And Aunt Lila. She knows everything," Maya said. "She's been with me since the beginning. She's the one who helped me when I didn't know what I was doing." Ethan nodded. "She seems protective." "She is." Maya smiled slightly. "She's been my rock." They reached Maya's house. She stopped at the bottom of the porch steps. "Do you want to come in?" she asked. "I made coffee." "Yeah," Ethan said. "I'd like that." Inside, Aunt Lila was washing dishes. She glanced at them when they came in but didn't say anything. Maya poured 2 cups of coffee and handed one to Ethan. They sat at the small kitchen table. "So what's your plan?" Maya asked. "You can't stay in that hotel forever." "I don't know yet," Ethan admitted. "I need to figure out how to balance work and being here, but I'm not leaving. I'll find a place to rent, something close." Maya wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. "What about your business?" "I can work remotely for a while, and I have people who can handle things when I'm not there." She nodded slowly. "This is going to be complicated." "I know." "The boys, they're going to get attached to you." "I want them to," Ethan said. "I want to be their dad, Maya, not just someone who visits once in a while." Maya looked at him for a long time. "Okay." Aunt Lila turned from the sink. "I need to run to the store. You two behave." She grabbed her purse and left. The door closed behind her. Maya and Ethan sat in silence. "I'm sorry," Ethan said finally, "for not fighting harder when you left, for letting you go." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry too, for not telling you, for keeping them from you. We both made mistakes." "Yeah." Ethan reached across the table. He stopped just before touching her hand. "Can we start over? Not forget what happened, but try to do better." Maya looked at his hand, then she placed hers over it. "Yeah," she whispered. "We can try." That afternoon, Ethan picked up the boys from preschool. They ran to him like he'd been gone for weeks, not hours. He lifted them both, one in each arm, and they laughed. "Let's go to the park," Noah said. "Yeah," Nico agreed. Ethan looked at Maya. She'd come with him to pick them up. "That okay?" he asked. "Sure," she said. They drove to a small park near the water. The playground was old but well kept. Swings, a slide, a merry-go-round. The boys ran straight for the slide. Ethan and Maya sat on a bench nearby, watching. "They have so much energy," Ethan said. "Always," Maya said, smiling. "Sometimes I don't know where they get it." Ethan watched Noah climb the ladder, watched Nico wait his turn at the bottom. They looked so happy, so carefree. "I can't believe I missed this," Ethan said quietly. "Their first steps, their first words, everything." "I know," Maya said. "I'm sorry." "Stop apologizing," Ethan said. "We can't change the past. We can only move forward." Maya nodded. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. The boys played. The sun shone. The breeze carried the smell of salt water. Then Nico ran down the slide and tripped at the bottom. He went down hard, scraping his knee on the wood chips. He started crying. Ethan was up and running before he even thought about it. He scooped Nico up and carried him back to the bench. "Let me see," Ethan said gently. Nico's knee was scraped. A little blood. Nothing serious, but Nico was crying hard. "I know it hurts," Ethan said softly. "But you're okay. You're so brave." Maya pulled tissues from her purse. Ethan wiped the blood gently. "There," Ethan said. "All better." Nico sniffled. "It still hurts." "I know, but it'll feel better soon. I promise." Nico wrapped his arms around Ethan's neck. "Thanks, Daddy." Ethan held him close. His throat tightened. He looked over Nico's head at Maya. She was watching him. Her eyes were soft, grateful. "You're good with them," she said quietly. "I'm trying." Noah came running over. "Is Nico okay?" "He's okay," Ethan said. "Just a little scrape." "I'll protect you, Nico," Noah said seriously. Nico smiled. "Thanks, Noah." They went back to playing. Ethan and Maya sat close together on the bench. "Thank you," Maya said, "for being here, for caring." "I do care," Ethan said, "more than anything." Maya looked at him, really looked at him, and for a moment, Ethan saw the girl he'd fallen in love with all those years ago. Then she looked away, but not before he saw her smile. That evening, Ethan stayed for dinner. Maya made spaghetti. The boys talked nonstop, telling Ethan about their day, about their friends, about a snail they'd found in the sandbox. Ethan listened to every word. He laughed. He asked questions. He felt more alive than he had in years. After dinner, he helped clean up. Maya washed. He dried. It felt natural, easy, like they'd done this 100 times before. "This is nice," Maya said softly. "Yeah," Ethan agreed. "It is." The boys ran into the living room and turned on the TV. Some cartoon Ethan didn't recognize. Maya dried her hands on a towel. "You should probably go soon. They need baths and bed." "Can I help?" Maya hesitated. "You want to?" "Yeah," she smiled. "Okay." Bath time was chaotic. The boys splashed everywhere. Ethan got soaked. Maya laughed. A real, genuine laugh that made Ethan's heart skip. After baths, Ethan read to them again. They each picked a book. He read both, doing different voices for the characters. The boys giggled. When he finished, he tucked them in. "Daddy?" Nico said sleepily. "Yeah? Will you be here tomorrow?" Ethan's chest tightened. "Yeah, buddy. I'll be here. Promise?" "Promise." Nico smiled and closed his eyes. Ethan kissed both boys on the forehead. "Good night." "Good night, Daddy," they said together. When Ethan came back into the living room, Maya was sitting on the couch. She'd changed into soft pajama pants and a t-shirt. Her hair was down. She looked relaxed. "They're asleep," Ethan said. "That was fast. They were tired." Maya patted the couch next to her. "Sit for a minute." Ethan sat. They were close. Not touching, but close. "Thank you for today," Maya said. "It meant a lot to them. And to me. I'm glad I was here." They sat in silence. The house was quiet, peaceful. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said. "Sure. Why did you give up on us?" The question caught Ethan off guard. He thought about it carefully. "I don't know," he said honestly. "I told myself you'd made your choice, that you didn't want me anymore, but the truth is I was scared. Scared of failing, scared of not being enough, so I threw myself into work and pretended I was fine." "Were you?" "No." Ethan looked at her. "I've thought about you every single day for 4 years." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I thought about you too." They sat there, the air between them heavy with everything unsaid. Ethan wanted to reach for her, wanted to pull her close, but he didn't. "Not yet. I should go," he said quietly. Maya nodded. "Yeah." He stood. She walked him to the door. "Same time tomorrow?" he asked. "Yeah." "Good night, Maya." "Good night, Ethan." He stepped out into the cool night. The door closed softly behind him. Ethan stood on the porch for a moment, breathing in the saltwater air, and for the first time in 4 years, he felt hope. The next morning, Ethan showed up early again. This time, Maya answered the door. She looked surprised. "So you're here early," she said. "I wanted to make breakfast," Ethan said. "If that's okay." Maya smiled. "Come in." Ethan made pancakes. The boys sat at the table, excited. Aunt Lila watched him carefully, but she didn't say anything. When breakfast was ready, they all sat together. The boys told stories. Maya laughed. Even Aunt Lila cracked a smile. After breakfast, Ethan walked the boys to school again. Then he came back and helped Maya with chores. He fixed a loose cupboard door. He carried boxes down from the attic. He didn't ask. He just did it. Maya watched him, her expression unreadable. "You don't have to do all this," she said. "I want to," Ethan said. That afternoon, an older man appeared on the porch. He was maybe 60, with weathered skin and kind eyes. He wore a fishing hat. "You must be Ethan," the man said. "I am. I'm Harold Brown. I live next door. Everyone calls me Mr. Brown." They shook hands. "I've seen you around," Mr. Brown said. "Maya told me you're the boy's father." "Yes, sir." Mr. Brown nodded. "Good. Those boys need a father, and Maya, she's been through a lot. She deserves someone who'll stick around." "I'm not going anywhere," Ethan said. Mr. Brown studied him. "I believe you, but words are easy, actions matter." "I know." "Good." Mr. Brown smiled. "Come by sometime. I'll take you fishing." "I'd like that." Mr. Brown tipped his hat and walked back to his house. Ethan stood on the porch, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was building something here, something real, something that mattered, and he wasn't going to let it fall apart. Over the next few days, Ethan fell into a routine. He woke early, had breakfast with the boys, walked them to school, spent the day with Maya, helping around the house, running errands, talking. Then he picked up the boys. They went to the park, or the beach, or just stayed home and played. Every night he read to them, tucked them in, promised he'd be back tomorrow, and every night he stayed a little longer with Maya. They talked about the past, about the boys, about everything and nothing. Slowly, the walls between them started to come down. One evening after the boys were asleep, Ethan and Maya sat on the porch swing. The night was warm, the stars were bright. "I've been thinking," Maya said. "About what?" "About us." She looked at him. "About what happens next." "What do you mean?" "I mean, what are we doing, Ethan? You're here every day. You're part of their lives now, but what about us?" Ethan took a deep breath. "I don't know. I just know I want to be here. With you. With them. But for how long?" "As long as you'll let me." Maya looked away. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of this. Of letting you in. Of falling for you again, and then losing you." Ethan reached for her hand. This time she didn't pull away. "You're not going to lose me," he said. "I'm right here." "But what if—" "No what ifs," Ethan said firmly. "I'm here. I'm staying. That's all that matters." Maya looked at their joined hands. A tear slipped down her cheek. "Okay," she whispered. They sat together in the dark, holding hands, listening to the ocean in the distance, and for the first time, Maya let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, this could work. The days blurred together in the best way. Ethan woke each morning with purpose. The hotel room felt less temporary. The town felt more like home. He'd found a rhythm with the boys. Noah loved building things, towers, forts, elaborate structures made from couch cushions. Nico loved stories. He'd bring book after book to Ethan, climbing into his lap without hesitation. Ethan memorized their faces, the way Noah's nose scrunched when he concentrated, the way Nico hummed when he was happy, the way they both said "daddy" like it was the most natural word in the world. But it was the moments with Maya that caught him off guard, the way she laughed at his terrible jokes, the way she hummed while washing dishes, the way she looked at him sometimes, like she was seeing him for the first time all over again. One Thursday afternoon, Ethan arrived to find Aunt Lila blocking the doorway. Again. "We need to talk," she said. "Okay." She stepped onto the porch and closed the door behind her. Her arms were crossed. Her expression was serious. "You've been around for a week now," she said. "Yes, ma'am. The boys are getting attached." "I hope so." "So am I," Lila said. Her voice was softer now. "Which is why I need to know you're serious about this. Because if you hurt them, if you hurt Maya, I won't forgive you." Ethan met her eyes. "I'm not going to hurt them. I'm here to stay. You say that now. But what happens when your business needs you? When this little town gets boring, when the reality of raising 2 4-year-olds sets in?" "I'll still be here," Ethan said firmly. "I missed 4 years. I'm not missing another day." Lila studied him for a long moment. Then her expression softened. "Maya's been hurt before, not just by you, by her parents, by people who were supposed to love her and didn't. Those boys are everything to her. And if you're going to be in their lives, you need to understand that you're not just responsible for them. You're responsible for her, too." "I know," Ethan said quietly. Lila nodded. She reached out and patted his shoulder. "Good," she said. "Now get in there. Nico's been asking for you all morning." Ethan smiled. "Yes, ma'am." Inside, Nico ran to him immediately. "Daddy, can you read to me?" "Of course." They settled on the couch. Nico snuggled against him with a book about trucks. Noah was already building something with blocks in the corner. Maya came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She smiled when she saw them. "You're early," she said. "Finished my calls early," Ethan said. "Thought I'd come by." "I'm glad you did." She sat in the chair across from them. For a while, the only sound was Ethan's voice reading and Noah's blocks clicking together. It felt like family. That evening, Maya invited Ethan to stay for dinner again. Afterward, they took the boys to the pier to watch the fishing boats come in. The pier was crowded. Families, couples, fishermen hauling in their catches. The boys ran ahead, squealing with excitement every time they saw a fish. Ethan and Maya walked slowly behind them. "Mr. Brown says you're doing well," Maya said. "You talked to Mr. Brown? He came by yesterday. Told me you were a good man." Ethan smiled. "That's nice of him. He also said you fixed his porch steps. They were loose." Maya stopped walking. She turned to face him. "Why are you doing all this?" she asked. "What do you mean?" "The fixing things, the helping, the being here every single day. You don't have to do all that." Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. Her brown eyes, the way the evening light caught her skin, the curve of her mouth. "I do it because I want to," he said. "Because this is where I want to be." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, I'm not trying to make up for lost time," he said. "I'm trying to be the man you needed me to be 4 years ago, the man the boys need now, the man you deserve." A tear slipped down her cheek. Ethan reached up and wiped it away gently. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know. What if this doesn't work? What if it does?" They stood there on the pier, the world moving around them. The boys' laughter carried on the breeze. The seagulls cried overhead. The water lapped against the wooden posts. Maya didn't pull away from his touch. "I didn't know if I'd ever see you again," she said softly. "And then you were just there, in the clinic, and everything I'd been running from caught up to me. I'm glad it did. Are you?" "Yeah." Ethan's thumb brushed her cheek. "Because now, I get to know you again, and I get to know them. And maybe we get a second chance." Maya closed her eyes. More tears fell. "I never stopped loving you," she whispered. Ethan's breath caught. "Maya, I tried. I told myself I was over you. But I wasn't. Every time I looked at the boys, I saw you. Every time they smiled, I remembered your smile. You were everywhere." Ethan's heart pounded. He wanted to kiss her, wanted to pull her close and never let go. But he didn't. Not yet. "I never stopped loving you either," he said. They stood there, barely breathing. The space between them felt charged, electric. Then Noah called out, "Daddy, come look." The moment broke. Maya stepped back, wiping her eyes quickly. "We should go," she said. "Yeah." They walked toward the boys, but Ethan's hand found hers, and she didn't let go. The next day was Friday. Ethan picked up the boys from preschool and took them to the beach. Maya came with them. They built sandcastles, chased waves, collected shells. The boys ran ahead, their laughter carrying on the wind. Ethan and Maya walked side by side, close, their shoulders almost touching. This feels normal, Maya said. It does. Is that strange? That it feels normal so quickly? Ethan thought about it. Maybe it's because it was always supposed to be this way. Maya looked at him. You really believe that? Yeah, I do. They walked in silence for a while. The sun was starting to set. The sky turned pink and orange. Noah ran back to them. Daddy, can we stay and watch the sunset? Is that okay? Ethan asked Maya. She smiled. Yeah, that's okay. They found a spot on the sand. The boys sat between them. Ethan pulled Nico onto his lap. Maya held Noah close. As the sun sank lower, Nico leaned back against Ethan's chest. Daddy, he said quietly. Yeah, buddy? Do you live with us now? Ethan's throat tightened. He looked at Maya. She was watching him, waiting. Not yet, Ethan said carefully, but I'm here every day, and I'm not going anywhere. But I want you to stay forever, Nico said. Me too, Noah added. Ethan felt his eyes sting. He looked at Maya again. She was crying softly. I want that too, Ethan said quietly. Maya reached over and took his hand. The boys didn't notice. They were watching the sun disappear into the ocean. But Ethan noticed. He held her hand tight. If your mommy lets me, Ethan added softly. Then maybe someday I will. Nico turned and looked at Maya. Can Daddy stay, Mummy? Maya wiped her eyes. She looked at Ethan, then at the boys. Yeah, she whispered. He can stay. The boys cheered. They jumped up and ran toward the water, splashing in the shallow waves. Ethan and Maya sat together on the sand, still holding hands. Did you mean that? Ethan asked. Yeah, Maya said. I meant it. Maya, I'm still scared, she said quickly. I'm terrified, actually, but I don't want to keep running. I don't want to keep pushing you away. The boys love you. And She stopped, took a breath. I love you. I never stopped. Ethan turned to face her fully. He cupped her face with both hands. I love you too, he said. I always have. They leaned closer, slowly, carefully, and then they kissed. It was soft, tentative, like they were both afraid it might break. But then Maya's hands found his shirt, and Ethan pulled her closer, and the kiss deepened. Years of pain, years of missing each other, years of wondering, what if? All of it melted away. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were crying. I'm sorry, Maya whispered, for everything. I'm sorry too. Can we start over? Yeah. Ethan kissed her forehead. We can start over. The boys ran back, laughing. They crashed into both of them, not noticing the tears or the moment they'd just shared. Can we get ice cream? Noah asked. Maya laughed. Yeah, we can get ice cream. They stood and walked back toward the parking lot. The boys ran ahead. Ethan kept his arm around Maya's waist. She leaned into him. For the first time in 4 years, everything felt right. But the fear didn't disappear overnight. Over the next week, Ethan noticed Maya pulling back. Small things at first. She'd be quiet during dinner. She'd smile less. She'd find reasons to be busy when he came over. One evening after the boys were in bed, Ethan found her sitting on the porch steps. Her arms were wrapped around her knees. He sat beside her. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing, Maya. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I'm waiting for you to leave. Ethan's chest tightened. I'm not going to leave. You say that now. I mean it. But what if something happens? What if your business needs you? What if you realize this life, this small town, these kids, me, isn't enough? Maya, look at me. She turned. Her eyes were red. You are enough, Ethan said firmly. This is enough. I don't need anything else. But, no buts. He took her hands. I know I hurt you. I know I let you down before. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm here. So I'm staying, and I'm going to prove it to you every single day until you believe me. I want to believe you. Then let me prove it. Maya looked down at their joined hands. Okay, she whispered, but the fear was still there. Ethan could see it in her eyes. The next morning, Ethan showed up early, but Maya was different, distant. Good morning, he said. Morning. She didn't meet his eyes. Everything okay? Yeah, fine. But it wasn't fine. Ethan could feel it. At breakfast, Maya barely spoke. The boys didn't notice. They were too busy eating pancakes and telling Ethan about a dream they'd had. After breakfast, Ethan walked the boys to school. When he came back, Maya was washing dishes. Maya, talk to me, Ethan said. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. You're shutting me out. Maya didn't respond. She kept scrubbing a plate that was already clean. Ethan stepped closer. What are you afraid of? I'm not. Yes, you are. And I need to understand why. Maya stopped. She set the plate down. Her hands gripped the edge of the sink. "I'm afraid of losing this," she said quietly. "I'm afraid of letting you all the way in, and then watching you walk away. I'm afraid of the boys getting hurt. I'm afraid of—" Her voice broke. "I'm afraid of being happy because every time I've been happy, something goes wrong." Ethan's heart ached. He moved behind her and gently turned her around. "Look at me," he said. She did. Tears streamed down her face. "I'm not going anywhere," Ethan said. "I know you're scared, but you have to trust me. You have to let me in. I'm trying. I know. And I'll wait as long as it takes. But you have to meet me halfway, Maya. You have to stop waiting for me to leave," she sobbed. Ethan pulled her into his arms. She clung to him, crying into his chest. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't apologize. Just trust me." They stood there in the kitchen, holding each other. The morning light streamed through the window. The house was quiet. Finally, Maya pulled back. She wiped her eyes. "I'm a mess," she said. "You're perfect." She laughed softly. "You're biased." "Maybe." Ethan kissed her forehead. "But I'm also right." That afternoon, Maya's friend Tara stopped by the house. She was tall and loud, and made Maya laugh. Ethan liked her immediately. "So you're the famous Ethan," Tara said, looking him up and down. "I guess so. Maya's told me about you." "Good things, I hope." Tara smiled. "Mostly." Maya rolled her eyes. "Tara, stop. I'm just saying. You broke my girl's heart 4 years ago. I'm allowed to be suspicious." "You are," Ethan said, "and I don't blame you." Tara studied him. Then she nodded. "Okay, you're all right. Thanks." She turned to Maya. "Can I talk to you? Alone?" Maya glanced at Ethan. "I'll be right back." The two women went into the kitchen. Ethan heard their voices, but couldn't make out the words. A few minutes later, they came back. Maya's eyes were red again, but she was smiling. "Everything okay?" Ethan asked. "Yeah," Maya said. "Tara was just reminding me not to be an idiot." Tara grinned. "That's what best friends are for." That evening, the boys asked if Ethan could stay for a movie. Maya agreed. They piled onto the couch, Ethan on one end, Maya on the other, the boys in the middle. Some animated movie about talking animals played on the screen. Halfway through, Nico fell asleep. His head rested on Ethan's lap. Noah leaned against Maya, his eyes heavy. Ethan looked across the couch at Maya. She was watching him, not the movie. Him. "What?" he asked softly. "Nothing," she said. "I'm just glad you're here." "Me too." They stayed like that until the movie ended. Then Ethan carefully carried Nico to bed. Maya carried Noah. They tucked them in together. In the hallway, they stood close. The house was dark except for a small nightlight. "Thank you," Maya said, "for being patient with me." "You're worth it," she smiled. Then she leaned up and kissed him. Soft, sweet. When she pulled back, she rested her forehead against his. "I'm going to try," she whispered, "to let you in, to trust this. That's all I'm asking." They stood there for a long moment. Then Maya took his hand and led him back to the living room. They sat on the couch. Maya curled up against him. Ethan wrapped his arm around her. "This is nice," she said. "Yeah, I could get used to this." "Good," Ethan said, "because I'm not going anywhere." Maya smiled. "I'm starting to believe that." They sat in comfortable silence. The house was peaceful. Outside, the ocean whispered in the distance. For the first time, Maya let herself hope, and Ethan held her close, knowing he'd never let her go again. But fear is stubborn, and old wounds don't heal overnight. A few days later, Maya woke up in a panic. She'd had a dream. Ethan leaving, the boys crying, her standing alone in the empty house. She got out of bed and went to the kitchen. It was still dark outside. She made coffee with shaking hands. By the time the sun came up, she'd convinced herself it was only a matter of time before Ethan left. Before this, all fell apart. When Ethan showed up that morning, Maya was cold, guarded. "Morning," he said. "Morning." He knew immediately something was wrong. "Maya, I need some space today," she said quickly. "What?" I need to think." Ethan felt his stomach drop. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, I just need space." "Maya, don't do this." "I'm not doing anything. I just need a day to myself." Ethan wanted to argue, wanted to push, but he knew that would only make things worse. "Okay," he said quietly. "If that's what you need." "It is." He nodded. "I'll still pick up the boys from school, if that's okay." "That's fine." He left, and Maya stood alone in the kitchen, crying. The boys noticed immediately that something was wrong. "Where's Daddy?" Noah asked at breakfast. "He had some things to do," Maya said. "But he's coming back, right?" Of course. But even as she said it, Maya wondered if she'd just pushed him away for good. Ethan sat in his hotel room staring at the wall. His phone was in his hand, but he didn't call, didn't text. Maya had asked for space and he'd give it to her, but it hurt. He understood fear. He understood the instinct to run before you could be hurt. He'd done the same thing 4 years ago, thrown himself into work instead of fighting for what mattered. But he wasn't going to do that again. At 2:30, he drove to the preschool. The boys ran to him like always. "Daddy!" they shouted. Ethan knelt and hugged them both. "Hey, guys. Where were you this morning?" Nico asked. "I had some work stuff to take care of." "But you're here now?" "I'm here now." They walked home slowly. The boys talked about their day. Ethan listened, but his mind was elsewhere. When they got to the house, Maya was on the porch. She looked like she'd been crying. "Hi," Ethan said carefully. "Hi." The boys ran inside. Ethan stayed on the bottom step. "Can we talk?" Maya asked. "Yeah." She came down and sat on the step. Ethan sat beside her, leaving space between them. "I'm sorry," Maya said, "for this morning, for pushing you away." "It's okay." "No, it's not." She looked at him. Her eyes were red and swollen. "I had a nightmare last night. You left, and the boys were crying and I was alone, and when I woke up I couldn't shake it. I convinced myself it was going to happen, that you were going to leave, so I pushed you away first." Ethan's chest ached. "Maya, I know it's not fair to you. I know you've been here every day. I know you've done everything right, but I'm so scared, Ethan. I'm terrified of losing you again." "You're not going to lose me." "But what if I do?" Ethan moved closer. He took her hand. "Then we'll deal with it together," he said. "But you can't keep pushing me away every time you get scared, because that's the only way you'll actually lose me. Not because I'll leave, but because you won't let me stay." Maya's tears fell faster now. "I don't know how to stop being afraid." "You don't have to stop. You just have to trust me anyway." She looked at their joined hands. "I want to. I really do." "Then do it. One day at a time, one moment at a time, trust me." Maya took a shaky breath, then she nodded. "Okay, okay, okay." She squeezed his hand. "I'm sorry. Stop apologizing, we're going to be okay." She leaned her head on his shoulder. They sat there in silence. After a while, Noah opened the door. "Daddy, can you come play with us?" Ethan looked at Maya. She nodded. "Yeah, buddy," Ethan said. "I'll be right there." That night, after the boys were asleep, Ethan and Maya sat on the couch. "Close this time. No space between them. I talked to Tara today," Maya said. "She told me I'm sabotaging myself." "Smart woman." Maya smiled. "She said I need to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop, that I'm creating problems that don't exist." "She's right." "I know." Maya turned to look at him. "I'm going to try harder. To trust this. To trust you. That's all I'm asking." They were quiet for a moment. Then Maya said, "Tell me something." "What?" "Tell me about the last 4 years. What you did. Where you went. I want to know." Ethan thought about it. "I worked. A lot. I built the business. Made money. Bought properties. Flipped houses. I told myself I was building something. But really, I was just trying to fill the space you left. Did it work?" "No." He looked at her. "Nothing worked. Because you were the only thing that mattered. And you were gone." Maya's eyes filled with tears again. "I'm sorry." "I know. Me too. What about, was there anyone else?" "No." "There was no one. In 4 years?" "In 4 years," Ethan confirmed. "I went on a couple of dates. Tried to move on. But it always felt wrong, like I was betraying something. So I stopped trying." Maya was crying openly now. "I dated too. Once. It lasted 3 weeks. I couldn't do it. Every time he touched me, I thought of you. Every time he laughed, it was the wrong laugh. I told him I wasn't ready, and I never tried again." Ethan pulled her closer. "We wasted so much time." "I know. But we have time now. We have right now." Maya looked up at him. "Kiss me." Ethan didn't hesitate. He kissed her. Deep, real, full of 4 years of longing and loss and love. Maya's hands tangled in his hair. Ethan held her like she might disappear. When they finally broke apart, both of them were breathless. "I love you," Maya whispered. "I love you too." They kissed again, slower this time, sweeter. And for the first time, Maya didn't pull away, didn't let fear win. She just let herself love him. The next morning, Maya woke up with Ethan's arm around her. They'd fallen asleep on the couch, tangled together. The early morning light filtered through the windows. Everything was quiet. Maya watched him sleep. His face was peaceful, relaxed, beautiful. She'd missed this, missed him, missed the feeling of being held. Ethan's eyes opened slowly. He smiled when he saw her watching. "Morning," he said, his voice rough with sleep. "Morning. Did we sleep here all night?" "Yeah," he stretched. "My neck is going to hate me." Maya laughed softly. "Mine too." They heard footsteps, small footsteps, running. Oh," Maya said. The boys appeared in the doorway. They stopped when they saw Ethan. "Daddy!" they shouted. They ran and jumped on the couch. Ethan caught them both laughing. "Why are you here so early?" Noah asked. "I stayed over," Ethan said. "Like a sleepover?" "Yeah, like a sleepover." "Can you stay over every night?" Nico asked. Ethan looked at Maya. She smiled. "Maybe," Ethan said. "If your mom says it's okay." Both boys turned to Maya. "Can he, Mommy? Please?" Maya laughed. "We'll see." But the way she looked at Ethan said yes. Over the next few days, everything felt lighter, easier. Maya stopped waiting for disaster. She let herself enjoy the moments. Ethan moved out of the hotel and into a small rental house 2 blocks away. It wasn't much. 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, a living room with old furniture. But it was his, and it was close. The boys helped him unpack. They ran around the empty rooms, their voices echoing. "This is your house, Daddy?" Noah asked. "Yeah. Can we sleep here sometime?" Ethan's throat tightened. "Yeah, buddy. Anytime you want." That night, Ethan made dinner at his new place. He invited Maya and the boys over. Aunt Lila came too. It was chaotic. The boys spilled juice. Aunt Lila told stories that made everyone laugh. Maya helped cook, and they kept bumping into each other in the small kitchen. It was perfect. After dinner, Aunt Lila pulled Ethan aside. "I was wrong about you," she said. "Mom, I thought you'd leave. I thought you'd hurt them. But you've proven me wrong. You're a good man, Ethan Hale." "Thank you," Ethan said quietly. "Don't make me regret saying that," she said with a small smile. "I won't." One Saturday afternoon, Ethan took the whole family, Maya, the boys, and Aunt Lila, to the pier. Mr. Brown was there with his fishing gear. "Ethan," he called, "come here. I'll teach you to fish." Ethan laughed. "I don't know." "Come on. The boys can learn too." So they spent the afternoon fishing, or trying to. The boys were terrible at it. They scared away more fish than they caught, but they laughed the whole time. Maya sat on a bench nearby, watching. Aunt Lila sat beside her. "You're happy," Lila said. "I am," Maya said. "Good, you deserve it." "So do they." Maya watched Ethan kneel beside Noah, helping him cast the line. "He's so good with them. He loves them. And he loves you." Maya smiled. "I know. So what are you waiting for?" Maya looked at her aunt. "What do you mean?" "I mean, why isn't he living with you? Why are you still pretending this is temporary?" "I'm not." "Yes, you are," Lila said gently. "You're still holding back, still protecting yourself. But that man isn't going anywhere, so stop wasting time." Maya watched Ethan lift Nico onto his shoulders. The boy squealed with delight. "You're right," Maya said softly. "I usually am." That evening, after the boys were asleep, Maya and Ethan sat on her porch swing. The night was warm, the stars were bright. "I've been thinking," Maya said. "About what?" "About us. About what this is." Ethan's heart rate picked up. "Okay, I don't want you to live 2 blocks away," Maya said. "I want you here with us all the time." Ethan stared at her. "Maya, I know it's fast, I know we're still figuring things out, but I don't want to waste any more time. I love you, the boys love you, and I want us to be a family, a real family." Ethan couldn't speak. His throat was too tight. "Say something," Maya said nervously. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." Ethan pulled her close. Yes, I'll move in. I want that more than anything." Maya kissed him, long and deep. When they pulled apart, she was crying. Happy tears this time. "When?" Ethan asked. "Whenever you want." "Tomorrow?" Maya laughed. "Tomorrow." The next morning, Ethan showed up with boxes. Not many. He hadn't accumulated much in the last few weeks, but enough. The boys were ecstatic. They helped carry small boxes. They asked a million questions. "Where will you sleep, Daddy?" "With your mom," Ethan said, glancing at Maya. She blushed, but nodded. "Will you make us breakfast every day?" "Every day I can." "Can we have pancakes tomorrow?" "Sure." They unpacked together. Ethan's clothes went in Maya's closet. His books went on her shelf. His toothbrush went in the bathroom. It felt right. Natural. Like he'd always been there. That evening they made dinner together. A real family dinner. The boys set the table. Maya made spaghetti. Ethan made garlic bread. Aunt Lila brought dessert. They ate and laughed and talked. The boys told jokes. Ethan did impressions. Maya smiled so much her face hurt. After dinner, they went to the living room. The boys wanted to show Ethan their drawings. They had a whole stack of them. "This one is you and Mommy," Noah said, holding up a picture. It showed 2 stick figures holding hands, a smaller figure on each side. "That's beautiful," Ethan said. "And this one is our family," Nico said. 4 stick figures, all holding hands, a house in the background, a sun in the sky. Ethan felt his eyes sting. "Can I keep this?" "Yeah." Ethan carefully took the drawing. He looked at Maya. She was crying too. "I love it," Ethan said. "Thank you." The boys hugged him. Then they ran off to play. Ethan sat on the couch. Maya sat beside him. He held the drawing carefully. "We're a family," Maya said softly. "Yeah," Ethan said. "We are." That night, after the boys were asleep, Ethan and Maya lay in bed together. The room was dark, quiet. Maya's head rested on Ethan's chest. His arm was around her. "Are you happy?" Maya asked. "I've never been happier," Ethan said. "Me neither. I'm sorry I wasn't here from the beginning." "Stop," Maya said. "We can't change the past. We can only move forward." "You're right." They lay in comfortable silence for a while. "Ethan?" "Yeah? Thank you for not giving up on us. I could never give up on you." Maya kissed his chest. "I love you. I love you too." They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, complete. Over the next few weeks, life settled into a beautiful rhythm. Ethan woke up every morning to the boys jumping on the bed. They'd make breakfast together, usually something simple like cereal or toast, sometimes pancakes if they had time. Then they'd walk the boys to school, hand in hand, like any other family. Ethan started working from home. He set up a small office in the spare room. He took calls, managed projects, but he was always there for lunch, always there when the boys got home. Maya went back to work part-time at the local library. She loved it, loved being around books and people, loved having something that was just hers. Aunt Lila still came by most days. She'd become like a grandmother to the boys, and she and Ethan had developed a warm friendship. Mr. Brown taught Ethan how to fix things, how to gut a fish, how to navigate small-town life. Tara became a regular fixture at family dinners. She and Ethan became friends. She told him embarrassing stories about Maya. He loved every single one. Life was good, really good. One Saturday morning, about a month after Ethan moved in, Maya woke up to an empty bed. She heard voices in the kitchen. She got up and walked down the hall. Ethan was making pancakes. The boys were on stools at the counter, helping, which meant mostly making a mess. "Daddy, can I crack the egg?" Noah asked. "Sure, buddy. Be careful." Noah cracked the egg. Most of it went in the bowl. Some of it went on the counter. "Good job," Ethan said. "Nico, you want to stir?" "Yeah." Maya leaned against the doorway, watching. Her heart felt so full it might burst. Ethan looked up and saw her. He smiled. "Morning, beautiful," he said. "Morning." "We're making breakfast," Nico announced. "I see that. Daddy said we could make a special breakfast for you," Noah said. "Did he?" Ethan winked at her. "It's a thank you for letting us be here." Maya's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. Always happy tears now. She walked over and kissed him. "I love you. I love you too." The boys made gagging sounds. Maya and Ethan laughed. Okay, Ethan said. "Let's finish these pancakes." Later that day, they went to the beach, the 4 of them. It was warm. The sun was shining. The water was perfect. The boys built sandcastles. Ethan helped. Maya took pictures. At one point, Ethan lifted both boys onto his shoulders. They squealed with delight. Maya filmed it on her phone. "Look at me," Noah shouted. "I'm so tall," Nico said. Ethan spun in a circle. The boys laughed so hard they could barely breathe. Maya couldn't stop smiling. Later, they sat on the sand. The boys played at the water's edge. Ethan and Maya sat close together. "This is everything I ever wanted," Maya said softly. "Me too. I can't believe we almost didn't have this. But we do," Ethan said. "We have it now." Maya leaned against him. "Promise me something. Anything. Promise me. This is forever." Ethan turned to look at her. He cupped her face with both hands. "This is forever," he said firmly. "You, me, and those boys. Nothing is going to change that. You promise?" "I promise." They kissed, soft and sweet. The boys ran back, covered in sand and water. "Gross," Noah said. "They're kissing again." Ethan laughed and pulled the boys into a group hug. Maya joined them. They stood there on the beach. a family, complete, happy. That evening, as the sun set, they walked along the shore. The boys ran ahead, chasing seagulls. Ethan took Maya's hand. "I want to marry you," he said suddenly. Maya stopped walking. She stared at him. "What?" "I want to marry you," Ethan repeated. "Not right now, not tomorrow, but someday, when you're ready. I want to marry you and be a family forever." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, I'm not asking yet," he said quickly. "I just wanted you to know. That's where this is going for me. That's what I want." Maya threw her arms around his neck. "Yes, yes, yes, someday, when we're ready, yes." Ethan picked her up and spun her around. She laughed. The boys ran back. "What's happening?" Nico asked. "Daddy and I are very happy," Maya said. "Why?" "Because we love each other." "We love you too," Noah said. They all hugged, right there on the beach as the sun set behind them. 1 year later, Ethan stood in the small backyard of their house. White chairs were set up in rows. Flowers decorated everything. The ocean stretched out beyond them. It was a small wedding, just family and close friends. Aunt Lila, Mr. Brown, Tara, a few other people from town, and the boys. Noah and Nico stood beside Ethan, wearing matching little suits. They were the ring bearers. Music started playing, everyone stood, and then Maya appeared. She wore a simple white dress. Her hair was down in soft curls. She was beautiful. Ethan's breath caught. She walked down the short aisle. No one gave her away. She walked on her own. Strong, sure. When she reached Ethan, he took her hands. "Hi," he whispered. "Hi," she whispered back. The ceremony was short and sweet. They exchanged vows, simple promises to love and support and stay. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Ethan pulled Maya close and kissed her. The boys cheered. Everyone clapped. They were married. After the ceremony, there was cake and music and dancing. The boys ran around with the other kids. Aunt Lila cried happy tears. Mr. Brown gave a toast that made everyone laugh. As the sun set, Ethan and Maya slow danced. The boys tried to dance too, spinning in circles nearby. "We did it," Maya said. "We did. We're a family." "We always were," Ethan said. "Now it's just official." Maya smiled. "I love you. I love you too. Forever." They kissed, soft and sweet. The boys crashed into them, hugging their legs. "Can we have more cake?" Noah asked. Everyone laughed. "Yes," Maya said. "You can have more cake." Late that night, after all the guests had gone home and the boys were asleep, Ethan and Maya sat on the porch swing, still in their wedding clothes, exhausted, happy. "Best day ever," Maya said. "Agreed." They swung gently. The ocean whispered in the distance. The stars shone overhead. "Do you ever think about how different things could have been?" Maya asked. "If you hadn't come to that clinic that day?" "All the time," Ethan said. "But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I found you, found them." "Me too. I'm glad you gave me a second chance." Maya looked up at him. "You gave me one too." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Ethan said, "Thank you." "For what?" "For the boys. For this life. For loving me." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you for coming back. For staying. For being the man we needed." Ethan kissed her forehead. "I'm not going anywhere." "I know." They sat together on the swing. Man and wife. Partners. Parents. A family. Complete. Finally. Forever. 2 years later. Ethan sat on the living room floor, helping Noah and Nico build an elaborate block tower. They were 6 now, taller, louder, but still the same sweet boys. "Daddy, it's going to fall," Nico warned. "No, it's not. We just need to be careful." Noah carefully placed another block. The tower wobbled, but held. "Yes!" They all cheered. Maya came out of the bedroom. Her hand rested on her very pregnant belly. "How's it going?" she asked. "Good," Ethan said. "We're building the tallest tower ever. I can see that." She sat carefully on the couch. Ethan noticed and went to sit beside her. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah, just tired. Only a few more weeks." "I know." The boys came over. They put their hands on Maya's belly. "When is the baby coming?" Noah asked. "Soon," Maya said. "Is it a boy or a girl?" Nico asked. "We don't know yet. It's a surprise." "I hope it's a boy," Noah said. "I hope it's a girl," Nico said. Ethan laughed. "Either way, you'll be great big brothers." The boys beamed with pride. Later, after the boys were in bed, Ethan and Maya sat on the couch. His hand rested on her belly. He felt the baby kick. "Strong one," he said, "just like their siblings." Ethan smiled. I can't believe we're doing this again. Are you nervous? A little. Are you? A little, Maya admitted. But I'm also excited. We're good at this. We are. They sat in comfortable silence. Ethan. Yeah? Thank you for giving me this life. Ethan looked at her. You gave it to me. We gave it to each other. Yeah. He kissed her softly. We did. The baby kicked again. They both laughed. Outside, the ocean whispered. The stars shone. The world was peaceful. Inside, a family was complete. Not perfect, not without struggles or fears or hard days, but complete, filled with love, with trust, with hope, and with the promise of forever. The end.